This is Soapbox Radio.
Potting it out there.
Potting it out there with My Lime Boots. The Travel Edit.
Hey guys, it's Ryan. It's Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock Joburg. Where else would we be? I know I say this every week, but in Brand Live 27 boxes on Soapbox Radio. Today we're doing a travel edit show. We're talking about things travel and travel related. But before I get to that, I just need to announce the winners from our great selfie shootout challenge, which took place last week. You'll remember live with us in studio last week, we had not only my photographer and friend Leb Skywalker, but we had Penny, Katlejo and Marshall, who are three contenders to selfie champion. They took before and after pictures, or they took before selfie pictures against our My Lime Boots media wall. Leb spent some time with them, showing them best angles, best lighting, things like that. And they submitted their after selfie pictures. You guys have been voting, and man, did you vote up a storm this week. We had 594 entries for the competition, and thank you so much to everyone for taking part and getting involved. From those 594 people that voted, we have a resounding winner. Our winner is Penny. Well done, Penny Namani. You did excellently. You managed to garner 69% of the votes. Well done to Penny. I'll be in contact with you a little bit later, Penny. I'll be putting up your name on the blog, on Facebook, and on Twitter, just to confirm you're the winner. We also ran, so Penny wins herself a 1,000 Rand Zando voucher. Well done, Penny. Go and shop. Go show us, take some pictures, or take some awesome selfies of what you were wearing with your Zando voucher. We also ran a giveaway for a 1,000 Rand Zando voucher for the person who voted. We did a random draw, and I'm happy to say that person is Jacob Marke. Well done, Jacob. I'll be confirming also with you shortly after the show, and on Facebook and on Twitter. So thanks to everyone for taking part. Thanks to Lebs for his input. And I'm watching this space to see what your guys' selfies are looking like. Not only the three contenders, but everybody who follows My Lime Boots. I'm wanting to see that those selfies are looking good.
You're tuned in to Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Lime Boots.
Find My Lime Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Lime Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Lime Boots Live.
Great, so back to today's show. Today's show, as I said before, is a travel edit show, and we're talking about my travels. We're talking specifically about my Tourist in Your City piece that I wrote on Woodstock that went up on the blog this week, Tuesday. So what is Tourist in Your City? Why am I doing Tourist in Your City? What is the segment about? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to encourage you guys to explore your cities. I think all too often in life we become complacent. We know where we live. We have usual spots that we go out to, and we don't venture and experience and explore our city, explore new places within our city. So that's what I'm trying to do with Tourist in Your City. I found, I travel quite a bit up and down between Joburg and Cape Town. And when I'm in Cape Town, every second street there's a wonderful place for me to take pictures for the blog. Great content. We've got the sea, the mountain, everywhere is just beautiful. Then I come back to Joburg and I'm somewhat depressed because there's just nowhere to take nice pictures. So that experience made me then go and seek out places when I'm here in Joburg, which are interesting. And so when I'm in Joburg, I do tourist in my own city. When I'm in your city, I do tourist in your city. So I need to know from you guys, what is interesting about your city? Where do you live? What little gems are in place in where you stay? Share with me on Facebook and on Twitter now. Maybe I'll come visit you in your city and we can do a Tourist in Your City piece together. So today's piece that we're discussing today is on Woodstock. Woodstock down in the Western Cape, in the city of Cape Town. I fell in love with Woodstock about 2 years ago on a trip to Cape Town. In those days, I was doing a fashion project with my friend Daniela, and Daniela and I had gone down to Cape Town together with Lebs for a bit of a press tour, and we had a week of craziness. We were based in Woodstock. I found this little house called the Pumpkin Palace, owing to the color it was painted, which was our base for the week that we were down in Cape Town. I found it on Airbnb, and there was crazy reasons. It was a little 2-bedroom house, and I think Lebs was most distraught that the bathroom was off the kitchen, and I think till today he can't get over that fact. But Woodstock has had a very, very special place in my heart ever since then. And Woodstock is an area of redevelopment, same as we're having here in Joburg, where we have Braamfontein and Maboneng and areas that have been regenerated. Woodstock is exactly the same thing is happening there. So this is the Woodstock vibe, and this is what I was looking to explore and to connect with in this piece, this Tourist in Your City piece on Woodstock specifically. So hence my post on Woodstock. I hope you find it as interesting as I did, and if you have a look at my Facebook page and my Twitter account, you'll find the link to the blog post there.
This is Soapbox Radio.
Potting it out there.
Potting it out there with My Line Boots. The Travel Edit. Share your thoughts and be part of the show now.
Send a message on Twitter or Facebook
at My Line Boots.
Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Line Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Line Boots Live.
So, while exploring Woodstock for my Tourist in Your City piece, I stayed at the Doubletree by Hilton Upper East Side in Upper Woodstock. Located in the Upper East Side mixed-use development in Upper Woodstock, the development is a combination of retail shops, apartments, and of course this fabulous hotel. From the front of the hotel, you have these most magnificent sea views in the distance, and from the back, you have these striking views of Devil's Peak, these lovely green mountains at the back. So everywhere you look, out of any window, no matter which room or suite you're in, you're going to find amazing views and an amazing place to be. Centrally located, Woodstock and Doubletree by Hilton Upper East Side is located 5 minutes from Cape Town CBD, from the V&A waterfront, and from everyone's favorite Table Mountain. So for me, running between shoots, running between meetings, Woodstock is always perfectly located and often a place that you'll find me in. We are joined now on the line straight from Woodstock by Caroline Coates, Marketing Manager of the Doubletree by Hilton Upper East Side. Welcome, Caroline.
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Good to hear from you, Caroline.
You too. We're like the longest named place in Wales. The longest.
I know. I've been practicing it all afternoon to make sure I get it correct. Caroline, tell us, where did the idea for a hotel in Woodstock come from?
You know, we've been around for sort of 10 years from a development point of view, and just, you know, really love the idea of being part of the urban regeneration and and sort of being at the birthplace of how cool and trendy Woodstock is, and could see the need for a hotel in this area. I mean, in the beginning, obviously, people thought we were crazy.
I'm going to say, yeah.
What we were doing, but we could see, you know, the potential and the growth, and businesses kind of popping up in and around the area. And again, the proximity to the city and the airport, it really was a sort of no-brainer for us. And, you know, it's been hard work, but we've loved every minute of it.
Okay. So were you guys one of the first developments in Woodstock, together probably with the Biscuit Mill? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know, the Biscuit Mill, obviously, they really were the kind of catalyst. So kudos to them. And obviously, again, the proximity. So we were the original developers of the apartments.
Okay.
And we put the hotel and sort of the retail. So the term, which I think lots of people are used to now, is mixed use. So we were one of the first mixed use developments where you've got a hotel, commercial, residential, and retail all in one space. And our strapline was sort of live, work, play. Upper East Side is live, work, play.
Sure, pioneering on all fronts, new areas, new developments. Well done, and it certainly may have been well worth your while, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah, wonderful. Caroline, tell me, is this the only Doubletree in South Africa? I know the Doubletree is a Hilton brand.
Yeah, so the Hilton brand, there's 6 sort of brands within the Hilton family, and the Doubletree is the 4-star brand. So it obviously matched perfectly with with who we were. Yeah. And it took us a long time to kind of find the right partners, and we converted to the Doubletree in 2013. So we've been together, as part of the family for a number of years, and it's a perfect fit for us. And in fact, actually, they're the 500th Doubletree hotel in the States.
My goodness, I didn't realize the numbers were that big, hey? Are there plans for any more Doubletrees in South Africa?
There are. I think that they're very, there are 3 Hiltons, and the Conrad Pursuit, which is down the Garden Route. Yeah. And, the sort of trendy business leisure kind of hotel is really what they are wanting to do. And so there's definitely more sort of plans. for further DoubleTrees in the country.
Okay, and tell me, Caroline, what makes a DoubleTree unique from any other hotel accommodation one could book at?
I think, we're slightly more relaxed, a bit more kind of trendy, I suppose is the word. I know everybody hates using that, but that's sort of what we are.
Yeah.
And we're very sort of staff hands-on. The staff really interact with our guests. We don't say no. It's just not in our vocabulary. And you stay here for a couple of days and you really start to know the team. I mean, I think we're probably one of the only hotels where the GM actually is on the floor in the morning serving breakfast and getting coffee and helping them decide which eggs they should be having. So we're very, we're very sort of staff and sort of guest relations focused.
Yeah.
And that's really what we pride ourselves on.
Okay.
So, we're a beautiful hotel. We've got an amazing restaurant. Our food's incredible. But we really, our thing is that people leave here and say, wow, Genevieve at the front desk. I'm going to be friends with her for the rest of my life. She went So that's really what it's what we pride ourselves on and what we strive for.
100%. And Caroline, that cookie, man, oh man. I was told about this cookie that you even told me in the mail before I arrived, but other friends from Facebook and Twitter were telling me about this cookie I would get. I was thinking to myself, gee whiz, it's just a cookie, chill out, But man, that cookie was quite interesting. Tell us a little bit about the special chocolate chip cookie everyone gets on arrival.
It's a secret recipe, and it's the same recipe that all 500 hotels of us obviously make. We probably bake between 1,500 and 2,000 a week.
Sure.
And they are, they're just to die for.
They are indeed. They really are.
Every single guest upon arrival gets a cookie, obviously, on arrival, and you can come back as many times as you like. So, if you really have that sort of cookie fix, you can come down sort of 10 times in a day. It's sort of interesting. Every year they sort of work out what the sort of statistics are. And last year, 1 million pounds of chocolate chips were used in our chocolate chip cookie manufacture.
Amazing.
It's amazing, and people love it. And obviously also the fact that you're kind of going in and it's kept in a little special sort of warm oven, and you actually get the cookie warm. So it's not something that's cold, that's been baked sort of from 3 days ago that's left there. They're freshly baked, on a constant basis, and you can have as many as you like.
And I think I did push my luck a little bit with the number of cookies I had. I don't think I got enough fingers on one hand to count how many I had. I wasn't going to tell you. I thought I might get into trouble, but I think it's worthwhile coming to your hotel just to come and enjoy that cookie, to be honest.
That's for you. They travel well.
Wonderful, thank you. Caroline, tell us about the range of accommodation available at DoubleTree.
Yeah, in total we're 183 rooms. We've got 16 loft suites, which are our double volume lofts, which you were lucky enough to stay in. We've got a mix of twin rooms, and again, obviously, things with being a sort of large conference hotel, there's lots of obviously conferences and meetings, and obviously twin rooms is often the way to go, so that colleagues can obviously share. We have a vast number of those, and we've got a good selection of queen rooms. We've got disabled rooms. We've got rooms with beautiful open bathrooms, so that you can kind of lie in the bath and admire the view. But we obviously are encouraging guests at the moment to not bath because of our drastic water shortage in Cape Town, and to conserve water as much as possible. So we've got a really good. We've got interleading rooms that we have families. We've got a lot of the lofts working really well for families because we've got rollaway beds. So we're really well covered and able to basically meet whatever need you have.
Great. So be sure to check out my Facebook page, My Line Boots blog, and my Twitter account, My Line Boots, where I've just posted the link to the post that Caroline and I are talking about my time in Woodstock and my time at DoubleTree by Hilton Upper East Side. And while you're there on Facebook and Twitter, give us some comments, send them through that we can talk to you guys while we're broadcasting.
This is Soapbox Radio.
Potting it out there.
Potting it out there with My Line Boots. The Travel Edit.
Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Line Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Line Boots Live.
Okay, so as you would have heard from our discussion this afternoon, I'm talking to Caroline Coates about my time in Woodstock as I played Tourist in Your City. While based at the Doubletree by Hilton Upper East Side, I spent 3 days exploring Woodstock, taking in her streets and meeting her people. Nothing like a bit of Tacky meets the tar to get to know a place. There's an authenticity about the people of Woodstock. Almost everyone I came across was willing to talk to me and share their views and points on Woodstock, even if it was just for a brief conversation on a Monday morning. I'm reminded of meeting Martin Walker, who was a security guard working at an old church on Rödeblom Road, which has now been converted into a film set. And Martin shares the stories with me that he's happy for the increased work that he's able to get as Woodstock redevelops and redefines itself. Unfortunately, they were filming in that church that morning. I couldn't get in, but I think it would have made for a fabulous photo shoot. I came across, further up in Rödeblom Road, I came across a antique store called Collect Me a Story, named after the owner, Mia, who's also a local Woodstock resident. I mean, I'm an absolute antique store nut. It was a treasure trove of goodies, gramophones, books, clocks, furnitures, and at her shop, Collect Me a Story, was a photographer's dream. So if you have a look at my blog post, which the links are up on Facebook and Twitter, you'll see some of the images that I took while I was exploring her store. I also made a video with Mia getting some of her thoughts about Woodstock, but unfortunately I did not put the button on for the mic, so we could not use that footage. There are some iconic developments that have taken place to date in Woodstock, so there is definitely a redevelopment, as Caroline has been speaking about already, with one thinks of the old biscuit mill and its neighbour goods market on a Saturday, and also the Woodstock Exchange, which is a great arts and tech hub covering 2 repurposed buildings. But unfortunately, not everyone has positive stories about the redevelopment of Woodstock. New landlords have, in certain cases, resulted in higher rentals and arrears, and certain families have been moved out. To me, that makes me sad to know that is happening, but I think it is on a limited scale, especially where such positive initiatives are taking place and some are being excluded.
You're tuned in to Soapbox Radio. Podding it out there with My Line Boots. Share your thoughts and be part of the show now.
Send a message on Twitter or Facebook
at My Line Boots.
Okay, if you've just tuned in, we are joined on the line by Caroline Coates, marketing manager of the Doubletree by Hilton Upper East Side Hotel, who hosted me during my stint in Woodstock. And we are talking about my time in this blog post this afternoon. Caroline, you guys have an amazing restaurant and bar at the Doubletree called Liberties. Tell us why the name Liberties?
Obviously because the development was Upper East Side and originally we were, the Upper East Side Hotel, we obviously kept our kind of whole New York theme running, and our conference rooms are called Madison, Hudson, Central 1 and 2.
Okay.
So it was just really kind of keeping the Upper East Side and playing on that sort of New York
theme.
Let's talk about, that New York theme.
Yeah, okay. In your restaurant, in the Liberties restaurant, you have a wonderful handcrafted hamburger, which I had for supper one night. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we are very aware of sort of our sort of food footprint and try and keep everything as local as possible. And we're very lucky that sort of literally next door we have a fantastic bakery, and we get all our artisanal breads and bread rolls from him, so they haven't traveled very far. Our burger patty is made by our chef, and he's got all those little secret ingredients and things that go into it, and obviously no one's allowed to know that. We have our own rooftop herb and organic garden. So I think it's we because we're in a city hotel and we didn't have these sort of lush green gardens to be able to grow and have all that sort of thing. We've kind of kept it tightly packed, and are very pleased that we can have our own herbs and vegetables and things from our rooftop garden, and the bread comes from the guy next door, and the butcher's just down the road.
A real community affair.
Why the burger tastes so good.
Yeah, and that it does indeed. Sure, I'm a big burger fan, and I really enjoyed that burger. Tell me, Caroline, is the restaurant open to non-guests who may be in the area?
We do. And as you know, we are surrounded by 2 blocks of apartments, and we have obviously lots of residents who do live in the block who come down and join us for drinks. We have music on a Tuesday and a Thursday night, and they obviously have their favorite musicians who they come and see. And again, we've got over 20,000 square meters of commercial. We've got an ad agency, we've got an architect practice, we've got a watch guy, we've got a kitchen guy, all of those people. People do come into the restaurant and obviously have lunch and have dinner and use us for lots of special occasions.
So really, really very multifaceted, hey?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I'm just looking at my Twitter feed now and I see Zakira has just sent me a message with this gif of this little cartoon girl batting her eyelids at me, and Zakira says, condemned by my family, rejected by the world. If my wife and I win, she's talking about that suite, that night in your suite, this will be our honeymoon. Shame. I think it's going to be a hard choice deciding who's going to get this. Who's going to say again?
Fingers crossed for them.
They're very much so. I think we've been getting a big response to our giveaway, which we'll talk about surely. Caroline, being so centrally located in Woodstock, guests are able to access many interesting places. Tell us about some of them.
Yeah, I think we're incredibly lucky that the Biscuit Mill is literally a sort of stone's throw away, and it's amazing. There's a couple of really great restaurants. The market on a Saturday is very exciting. There are amazing galleries. Stevenson just up the road. We've got What of the World, who are also not far away from us. So it has got a very eclectic, arty,
cosmopolitan almost,
which is great. There's amazing. There's several sort of local guys who do walking tours of all the different graffiti in the area, because they all sort of tell a story. You mentioned earlier Woodstock Exchange, which has got a great restaurant called Superette in it, which is a fab place for sort of morning coffee and lunch. There's amazing restaurants around. Everybody knows the Test Kitchen Potluck Club and the Biscuit Mill Burrata, which is a fantastic Italian restaurant. There is the You're Making Me Crazy, which is
I've been to Jamaica Me Crazy. It was part of a Pumpkin Palace experience.
And Car and Dudley, the kitchen, which is further up in Woodstock, which is really also an amazing place to go for lunch. You have to get there at 11:30 if you want to make sure you get a table.
Okay.
The fact Practice has also moved into the area, so we're very lucky. There's not just sort of one or two. I think we've got a great sort of cross section of restaurants within the area. And the Woodstock Grill and Tap again is just it's been around for a while. It's amazing. The steaks are incredible. There's sort of refrigeration room where you can go in and sort of choose your own steak. Is mind blowing. So I think we're really, really lucky. There's amazing choice. So guests here for a couple of days, they can eat in the hotel, and there's a really great selection outside.
So the redevelopment is not something that happened a couple of years ago when you guys did the hotel and a Biscuit Mill and whatnot. It's a continuing, ongoing thing that's happening all the time with new places coming in, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes if I don't go outside for a week, it's like, wow.
Yeah. Something new popped up.
We opened just down the road.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic that there's new, different things. And because there's so many new sort of businesses again who are moving into the area, there's great opportunities for staff to pop out and get a coffee. They're not confined to their desks because there are places for them to go.
Okay. And Caroline, talk to us briefly about safety, something that's on every South African's mind and every tourist coming into South Africa's mind, about the area in Woodstock, Upper Woodstock, and Woodstock as a whole.
I think you have to be sensible wherever you are in the world, wherever you are traveling. You've got to have your wits about you. During the day, very happy for people to sort of wander around. I obviously wouldn't recommend it at night. We have a shuttle service that goes to the V&A waterfront 4 times in the day and obviously collects people back 4 times in the day at sort of varying times. And these days with sort of Uber and with taxis, it's very easy to hop into an Uber and actually go to the Biscuit Mill or go to the restaurants. And often actually with sort of trying to park and all of those things, it's much easier to actually
just
make
jump out.
A sort of transport, but again, I would say to everybody, you need to be sensible.
100%.
Don't walk around looking at your phone and not looking at your surroundings because something bad might happen.
Just basic sensible advice. Caroline, Doubletree also caters for business travelers and business conferences. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we obviously knew again because we're one of the sort of first hotels that we might struggle a little bit from a leisure point of view. So we focused a lot on our sort of conferencing. We're really lucky. We've got 10 different conference and meeting room venues, so we can be very flexible with whatever group. We can have anything from sort of 10 in a meeting room up to 500 in our big atrium space. We have exhibitions. We've had dinners. We've had weddings. We've had all kinds of conferences, and again, obviously, that's great because the people then who are obviously conferencing with us for a few days or having meetings can then obviously get to stay with us as well and enjoy then the leisure side of the hotel and not just be in the sort of meeting space.
100%. I remember when I checked in, I think it was a Sunday afternoon that I checked in, the Uber people were checking in from, I think, Uber, the Middle East and Africa. My word, they were loud. But the cookie made me feel better, so I was happy.
It often saves the day.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So be sure to check out my Facebook account, My Line Boots blog, and my Twitter account, My Line Boots, for the links to the blog post which Caroline and I are sharing at the moment about DoubleTree, as well as my video taking you on a personalized tour of DoubleTree.
This is Soapbox Radio.
Potting it out there.
Potting it out there with My Line Boots. The travel edit.
Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Line Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Line Boots Live.
Caroline, lastly, share with the listeners a little bit more about those fabulous suites that you guys have at the top of your hotel.
They're amazing. We made use of the height, so they're double volume. And so your kind of living area, if you like, is downstairs. They've got a microwave and coffee machine. So it's quite nice. Again, if you're there for a few days, to be able to kind of do your own thing. So you don't always have to feel pressurized to go and have dinner, for example, in the restaurant. You can actually, look after yourself a bit.
Yeah.
There's a separate sort of dining area. And again, a lot of guests, from a room service point of view, we actually then do the sort of table. So it's almost as like you're eating dinner.
Yeah.
It's your own apartment. And just really beautiful views. As you said, the ones sort of at the back of the building have magnificent views of the Devil's Peak Mountain. And obviously the ones sort of towards the front of the building, you can actually then sort of take in Woodstock, and then obviously the harbour views is sort of beyond. They're just, they're very spacious. And you can, move around. You don't feel, our rooms are all obviously a very good size, but again, I think it was a very sort of it's a very unique take on suites that they are double volume.
Okay. If you check out my blog post, which is now up on my Facebook account and Twitter account, you will see I end off the video, which is included in the post, from the balcony of one of the suites, and share some snaps of what the suites look like. Well, I stood on the stairs taking a picture of the lounge, the living area. In one of the pictures, you'll see that. Now, Caroline, you stunning folks at DoubleTree by Hilton Upper East Side have given me a one-night stay for two in one of these amazing suites.
You have, yes, and we're looking forward to welcoming the winner.
Yes, good. Yeah, indeed, an amazing prize. Now, you guys will be able to explore Woodstock just as I did, but from the comfort and luxury of a suite at the amazing DoubleTree by Hilton Upper East Side. All you need to do is head on over to my post, which you'll find the links to on Facebook and Twitter, and find the actual post for on Twitter and Facebook, and share that, retweet it, and then comment on that post, as people have been doing this afternoon, with why you should be the one to enjoy a night at the Hilton, at the DoubleTree. I'm asking you to retweet and share as well, and then comment with that. So we're running the giveaway from now until next week Thursday. So there's lots of times for you guys to get involved. Retweet on all the different platforms. Get as many votes in as you possibly can, and I'll be announcing the winner on next week's show.
You're tuned in to Soapbox Radio. Potting it out there with My Line Boots.
Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Line Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Line Boots Live.
Caroline, thank you for being my guest on the show today on this travel edit, and for hosting me while I played Tourist in Your City in Woodstock.
Great to have you, Ryan. We hope you'll come back and stay with us again very soon.
I look forward to that. Caroline, remind us where we can find DoubleTree by Hilton Upper East Side if we're looking to make a booking.
You can book on our website, which is DoubleTree at Hilton.com, and search for Cape Town. We come up immediately. We're on Instagram at DoubleTree by Hilton Cape Town. Facebook is DoubleTree by Hilton Cape Town, and our Twitter is at DoubleTree CPT.
This is Soapbox Radio.
Potting it out there.
Potting it out there with My Line Boots. The travel edit.
Well, that brings us to the end of our show today. Thanks, guys, for another great show. I can't believe this is the 4th Soapbox Radio show. We're a whole month old. Sure, I wish I was that young again. Truly hope I have inspired you to explore your city, and maybe if you don't live in Woodstock, to go and explore exactly what's happening in Woodstock. Whenever I find myself in Cape Town, I often spend time at Salisbury's, working between meetings and shoots, and hopefully one day I'll see you there when you're in Cape Town too. Next week, I have a real-life diva in studio with me as I chat to Zar Makanya, who is not only fabulous all-round, but a plus-size style blogger. I definitely want your input as we chat about all things fashion, style, and body shape. Thanks, guys. That was Soapbox Radio. I'm out of here, and I'll see you again next week.
You've been listening to Soapbox Radio.
Podding it out there with my line boots. Find My Line Boots on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
At My Line Boots. And on YouTube.
At My Line Boots Live.